What is it like when time moves 31 million times faster while you're trapped in a cave? Let's find out. Welcome to Real Recap. Don't forget to hit subscribe as we dive in. The movie begins with Hopper, an archaeology professor, and his dog, Boss, searching for his family, who disappeared in the 1970s while exploring a cave in search of the Fountain of Youth. While searching, Hopper spots a cave in the distance. Upon reaching the entrance, he sees a cowboy whose clothing and gun appear outdated, seemingly frozen in time. Astonished by this find, Hopper retreats and heads home. At first, he had organized this expedition with his teaching assistants, Taylor and Jackie, but upon returning home, Hopper informs them that his plans have changed and decides to return to the cave alone. Once inside the cave again, he notices a barrier that separates the cave atmosphere from the outside. He breaks through this barrier, causing the cowboy figure from his last visit to come to life. 2 days pass without news from Hopper, so Taylor and Jackie choose to search for him. Without a vehicle, they contact Kara, Taylor's crush, asking to borrow her father's SUV. Kara agrees and also brings along her sister Vives, who needs to finish a school project, and Vives' friend, Furby. The group arrives at the cave and finds Hopper's parents' van, realizing that the professor has been looking for his missing family all along, rather than a group of hippies from the 70s as they had been led to believe. They discover an old rope leading into a different section of the cave. The rope seems to have been cut and looks very old, suggesting it's not Hopper's. As they continue exploring, they find that the cave is incredibly deep. The group decides to descend, leaving Furby behind to keep watch since he's too frightened to join them. While they descend, Kara encounters the same invisible barrier that Hopper had, which alters the air. The group breaks through the barrier and keeps going. Once again entering the cave, Hopper sees the barrier that separates the cave atmosphere from the outside world. He breaks through this barrier, making the cowboy figure from his earlier visit come to life. When Hopper first entered, it was still daylight, but just a few minutes later, the outside world has drastically transformed. His car is now overgrown with plants, and it's nighttime. He realizes that time inside the cave flows much slower than outside, with minutes inside equating to decades outside. Seeing Kara's SUV and Jackie's backpack, Hopper re-enters the cave. As the kids delve deeper, they hear screams, causing the girls to try to leave, starting with Jackie. However, the rope suddenly snaps, resulting in Jackie falling and injuring both herself and Taylor, who attempts to save her. Taylor pulls on another rope, only to discover that it's been cut as well. The group suspects Furby might be playing a trick by cutting the ropes. They attempt to contact Furby through the radio, but there is no response. Eventually, they hear muffled cries for help over the radio, with Furby claiming it's him. With no other options, the group moves forward, leaving the injured Jackie behind. Hopper's family originally ventured into the cave because his sister had fallen seriously ill, and they hoped the rumored magical waters could heal her. In their quest for this miraculous water, the family entered the cave, only to disappear without a trace. While Furby looks for his missing friends, who are presumed dead, he aims to find the car keys to escape. Furby's time outside the cave extends over several days, but for those still inside, only seconds have gone by. When Furby finally enters the cave, his rope is unexpectedly severed, causing him to fall. He loses consciousness, but does not die right away. After around an hour, Furby wakes up and tries to communicate with Taylor via the radio. Just as he begins to speak, a caveman suddenly appears, attacking and ultimately killing him. While going over Furby's recording, Vives notices something odd. The time code on the footage covers several days, even though they've only been inside the cave for an hour. This time passage discrepancy is baffling, and the group starts to realize that time flows at significantly different rates inside the cave versus outside. With Taylor and Jackie both injured, Kara and Vives are the only ones who can seek help. Since Vives is younger and less experienced, Kara decides to climb out herself, using the same path they descended earlier. In the midst of the chaos, she spots a giant triangle-shaped object hovering in the sky, which fills her with fear and confusion. With no way to call for help and recognizing the danger, she rushes back into the cave. This difference in time perception frustrates and confounds the group, further straining their already fragile morale. However, upon re-entering, Kara is met with doubt and accusations from the others. To them, it seems like she hardly made any effort to seek help, as only a few seconds have passed inside the cave, while Kara had spent about 30 minutes outside. This difference in time perception frustrates and confuses the group, further straining their already fragile morale. They all come to understand that time outside the cave flows drastically faster than inside, making every moment within the cave feel drawn out and slow. Taylor theorizes that this time dilation is the reason the climbing ropes are deteriorating so quickly. The friction against the cliffside, combined with the fast passage of time, causes the ropes to age and fray rapidly, leading to unexpected breaks. Vives, intrigued by the phenomenon, reviews Furby's footage again. She observes the swift movement of the sun across the sky, with cycles of light and darkness occurring at an unnaturally rapid pace. Vives concludes that the periods of daylight indicate summer, while the darker intervals represent winter, resulting in an entire seasonal cycle occurring within a single second. This incredible revelation suggests that one entire year outside equals just 1 second within the cave's warped timescale. By extending this calculation, they estimate that around 5,400 years have passed on Earth since they entered the cave. This realization hits the group like a shocking epiphany. They are not merely lost in space, but also in time, ensnared in a temporal anomaly that has flung them millennia into the future. The implications of this discovery weigh heavily on the group. They realize that the world they once knew has likely changed beyond recognition, and the lives of everyone they ever cared for have moved on without them. Confronted with this bleak reality, their initial aim of merely escaping the cave now feels more daunting than ever. They must not only find a way out, but also contend with the realization that their existence has been severed from the time they once knew. As they look to one another for direction, the group begins to formulate a plan, realizing that every second is crucial and the choices they make inside the cave will significantly impact their chances of survival and their potential return to a world that has long forgotten them. As Kara attempts to climb the cliff again, a futuristic high-tech ladder suddenly descends into the cave, accompanied by a towering figure dressed in a spacesuit. Out of nowhere, a caveman appears and attacks the giant, but the giant subdues him without killing him. The group panics and flees to another part of the cave, where they discover the bodies of the cowboy and the parents. They are soon faced with 3 more cavemen. Taylor decides to fight them, but is brutally slain while the girls escape to another section of the cave. Kara returns and discovers Taylor's lifeless body. Overwhelmed by grief, she encounters the alien giant, who lifts Taylor's body and drags him to a pool of magical water. To their amazement, the water revives Taylor, bringing him back to life. However, the cavemen return and assault the giant, knocking off his helmet and exposing him to the cave's atmosphere, which he cannot breathe. Despite this, the giant manages to capture all the cavemen before succumbing to the hostile conditions. Before dying, the giant shows the group various media clips explaining that humans have started migrating to another planet to ensure humanity's survival, revealing the drastic changes on Earth since their disappearance. The group understands that there is no return to the world they once knew and must decide whether to escape now or remain in the cave forever. Taylor eventually finds a severely injured Hopper in front of a thicker wall, where Hopper's long-lost sister and individuals from different eras are frozen in a struggle to claim the Fountain of Youth. Hopper clarifies that the entire cave system was constructed to guard the fountain, with each layer operating at a different rate of time flow. The deeper the layer, the slower time passes compared to the one above it. Using the fountain's water, the group heals Jackie and even revives Furby. However, they are attacked once again by the remaining cavemen. With no alternatives left, they decide to utilize the high-tech ladder brought by the giant to escape the cave. When they reach the cave's entrance, they find it has been submerged in water. Kara attempts to break through the barrier but is suddenly yanked away by strange creatures, which turn out to be further evolved humans. Moments later, a fully equipped Kara returns to the cave with a high-tech rope to rescue everyone, including Furby, Hopper, and Hopper's parents. In the conclusion of the film, Furby, Hopper, his parents, and his sister are all revived. They find themselves aboard a massive spaceship en route to a new Earth, leaving their old world behind. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications on new movie recaps.